Okay, 3A, let's talk about fractions. Fractions are formed when a whole number or amount is divided into equal parts. So the bottom number we know is called the denominator. Sounds like a Schwarzenegger movie. And that tells us, the denominator tells us how many parts the whole has been divided up into. The top number is the numerator, which tells us how many of those parts we are selecting. So in this example here, 4 over 7, 7 is the total number of parts. That's the denominator. And we only want 4 of those parts. So it's 4 out of 7. So this is our numerator. Up as in up and down, divided into the denominator down. So let's look at some examples here. Equivalent fractions are equal in value. And how do we get to these? We essentially multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same amount. So 3 times 2 gives us 6, and 5 times 2 gives us 10. So whatever we multiply these by, as long as they're the same numbers, gosh, that's a bit sloppy, isn't it? Then they will be equivalent fractions. So another example, you might choose 3 over 7. Let's multiply that by 3. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. 7 times 3 gives us 21. So 3 over 7 and 9 over 21 are equivalent fractions. Now you have a think, and you do another one, and see if you can come up with equivalent fractions. So they are made by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same amount, as I just showed you. So these two, how did we arrive at these equivalent fractions? 2 times what gives us 10? That's 5. And so if I do that to the bottom number as well, numerator and the denominator, then I will come up with equivalent fractions. You can also find them by, that was multiplying both of them, you can also find them by dividing them. So what we need to do is, let's see, what's a common factor between these two numbers? Let's go with 3, because both of these are divisible by 3. 6 divided by 3 gives us 2, and 21 divided by 3 gives us 7. Well, that was handy. Well, it turns out that that's the best way to do it. Not only find any factor, but the highest common factor is going to make sure that we get straight to the point rather than just doing the guesswork. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The factors of 18 are 1, 2, there are 3, yes, there's a 3, 6, 9, 2, and 18. So our highest common factor between these two appears to be 6. So now we know right away that if we take 12, divide it by 6, our highest common factor, and do the same thing with 18, then we're going to end up with the simplest form of our fractione, which is 2 over 3. Another way to think about it is by canceling. So if you think 12 over 18 is the same as saying 2 times that highest common factor, or 3 times that highest common factor. Well, 6 over 6 is effectively 1. So we can cancel that out. That's another way to think of arriving at this answer. Over here on the other side, we've got a few examples. So write the following fractions with a denominator of 40. So we know we have to have a 40 on the bottom. So just quickly, I need to multiply these by the same number. 5 times what will give me 40? Well, that's times 8. All I have to do is make sure that I multiply the numerator by the same amount, and here we go, the equivalent fraction for there. It's a good time to pause and go through and see if you can do these yourself. And unpause. So 1 over 2, what will 2 need to be multiplied by in order to get to 40? And the answer is 20. So this is easy. 1 times 20 is 20. So 20 over 40. I'm not even going to bother with this one. How do I make this? Multiply that by 10. Multiply that by 10. I just add a 0. How quick was that? Or you could work it out and write it times 10, which you should do if you're showing the working. This one's a little bit different. So I'll just write straight on it. What do we divide by to reach 40? And the answer, of course, is 3. And so we'll then divide the top number as well, the numerator, by 3, and we come up with 12. Here we're trying to find the highest common factors, because we're going to write these in the simplest form. So work out what the highest common factors are. I've gone out and worked out that it's 4. Divide this by 4. Divide this by 4, and we get 2 over 5. the factors, you know that 5 is going to appear in there. And if you work out all the factors, gives us 5 over 3. Improper, but correct. Now, when you work this one out, you can see that they're divisible by 5 as well. You don't need a calculator, do you? 35 divided by 5, let's just have a guess and see where that takes us, down to 7. And 145 divided by 5 reduces down to 29. And there's your work.